Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bill Hanna Baking. Today I'm going to show you how to make gingerbread cookies. Before we get started, don't let the ingredient list fool you. I know the list looks long, but there's a good chance you have most of this at home. Alright, let's get started with the cookie component. Beat your room temperature unsalted butter until it's creamy. It's medium speed in a stand mixer for about a minute. Next, we're going to add in our brown sugar and molasses. Beat that on medium to high speed until that's creamy as well. Add in your egg and your vanilla. This is going to be medium to high speed for another 2 minutes or so. There's a very good chance that your mixture is going to separate. That's actually the butter separating. That's okay, we're going to fix that later on with the flour. Separate medium-sized bowl, just use a whisk to combine all your dry ingredients. So that's your flour, your baking soda, your salt, ginger, cinnamon, allspice, and cloves, and just whisk it until it's really well combined. Now turn your mixer to a low speed or the stir setting available on some stand mixers. At the speed, you're going to slowly mix your wet ingredients and your dry ingredients. So I usually use something like a cup measuring spoon or a half a cup, and I just slowly spoon in the dry ingredients into the wet mixture and just let it slowly incorporate into the mixture at that slow speed. When your dough is well combined, you'll notice that it's a pretty heavy dough and it's going to be a little bit sticky to the touch as well. Your dough is now ready to go into the fridge overnight. Separate your dough into two separate components, flatten it out a little bit so it's easier to work with tomorrow, saran wrap it and make sure it is airtight, put it in the fridge and forget about it until tomorrow. You have to rest your dough in the fridge overnight for two main reasons. One is it keeps the dough from spreading too much in the oven when you're baking it. And two, it helps develop the flavor of the cookies a lot better. Overnight is definitely recommended, but you can also probably get away with 3 to 4 hours in the fridge. Okay, so day 2 out of the fridge now. We're going to generously surface our area here. This is unlike most other doughs and most other cookie doughs. The reason why is this is a pretty wet dough, and not only that, but you really don't want it to stick to the surface because you're going to be rolling out your dough and you're going to be pressing shapes out of it. So when you release the shapes out, you don't want any resistance and you don't want any of the dough sticking to your surface. Before you roll out your dough, make sure you flour your rolling pin as well. Again, you just want to reduce the stickiness to the dough. Roll it out to approximately 1/4 inch thick. Now you can use your cookie cutters to press out your cookies. If you have any trouble in releasing your dough from the surface, just use a bench scraper or a metal spatula or something like that to help you along the way. Line a baking pan with parchment paper, or you can use a silicone cookie sheet to bake your cookies. You will likely have a decent bit of dough from around the cookies that you are using. You can put all that dough together, try to dust off some of the flour if it's excessive, and you can get that into a fridge to rest for a little bit just before you press it out again to press out more cookies. At this point, you can get your cookies into an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees. Your cook time is going to be about 10 minutes for soft cookies. You can go an extra 2 to 3 minutes if you like them a little bit crispier. Your cookies should come out of the oven looking something like this. Now is the hard part. We gotta wait for them to cool before we start icing them. For my favorite royal icing recipe, check out this video here. This is super simple and you don't need anything like meringue powder or egg whites to help solidify your icing. It'll still give you a nice and robust icing that you can use on your cookies or really anything else that you want to add icing to. And that's it for my gingerbread cookies. I hope you had a fun time following along. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you when I see ya.